Russia's direct involvement in these actions over the last
corrupt involvement. Hello, Barack.
About their commitment to pulling the situation back from the brink.
Hello.
The U.S. remains prepared to work with Russia to try to reduce the violence against ISIL
Beauty in the base.
Syria. But so far, Russia has failed.
But so far, today's show is LK, BRUIX, frequency abbreviated. X20. Let me just make sure it's correct. X20? X20, this is Time Warner Cable, lineup 14201. Channel 20, least access, ELISA. Equitable assets. Enzyme linked assay. Equitable assets. Enzyme linked assay. Is Barack a glass of orange juice?
Keep eliminating ISIL.
Are you a glass of orange juice?
And we delivered another blow last month when we took out a
equitable
top ISIL
assets
in Afghanistan, Umar Khalifa. Finally,
Are
this should
you?
be clear by now, and no one knows this better than our military leaders.
Well, I would know that. Today's show is sponsored by ZONING, DCX 4215 HCL. And the paucity committed to sack a federal statute prohibiting military and civilian law enforcement. Your ears, are you wearing 18 USC 1384? Capital One, what's in your wallet? Pink Shorts is filmed in front of a live democracy republic. Both exposed and approved. Thank you for writing MREL, the new safety video. This is Auditory Station, Auditory Nerve, a CBIS iPhone. Hibiscus information. Spelled love, LOVE. This is Pink Shorts, Verbal Contract Civil Code 1622. We've dismissed the use of land patents and communicating with your patents via my client's medulla left leg, primary motor cortex left leg, primary visual left leg, primary auditory left leg, arcuate fasciculus left leg, my hippocampus hypnotize and sleep.
Including Muslim families and children as they break their Ramadan fast and
hypnotize and sleep, hippocampus.
The Prophet's Mosque, one of the holiest sites in Islam.
We love mosque. Our vertical left leg, BRCA left leg, angular gyrus left leg, or any other part of the left or right hemisphere. All the brain is in agreement of identical evidence and discretion of all counts obtained will be used for the new old television network and MerriweatherA.Law firm businesses. Contact us at 594-1443. The end. Pay your Geico claims at 1-800-932. The rest is our identity. Government employees, you should know the age limits of who I am. 1-800-932-11111111. 7 telephone pay.
I want to say a few words on another topic.
It's 11. 1-800-SSI-11.
Seeing the first locally transmitted cases
Kim Flattery, Satchel.
by mosquitoes in the continental United States.
Well, call Miss Cleo at 1-800-98 Isabel. Ground 0, 86 Mogul, 37 with the channel. I wonder what pets say. Yuri Harris. Two-party consent law is required to record eavesdrop on any confidential communication with the White House, President of the United States, including a private conversation, telephone call, Google Hangouts, Google Hangouts. This is a news program. Without the consent of all parties to the conversation, please reference Penal Code 632. Please reference January 18th, 3:34 a.m. Please reference March 20th, riding trains. Please reference June 18th, June 19th, Jay Kearney resigning, and Route 204. 10 p.m. Brookheimer shows. Hello, Amazon. And please reference August 8th at 8:46 a.m. World Trade Towers. Push Sonic. Hello, Push Sonic. Good morning. Push Sonic, how you doing?
In addition, Congress needs to do its job.
Push Sonic.
Fighting Zika costs money. Helping Puerto Rico deal with its Zika
Push.
costs money.
Salt and pepper. Push it real good.
And by the way, NIH just
oh, baby, baby. Push it real good. Statutes of limitations that apply to tuition claims in California lasts for 2 years. Civil Code Section 335.1. Recognize intrusion upon seclusion. Howell versus New York Post Code. This is a live email you have received. Due to time constraints, we are expediting our intro. I'm very excited to do today's show. I'm wearing Savvy from head to toe. I did everything you wanted me to do. Etana Vesson stores audio experience 11 song, motivational speaker, richest man in America, universe, world, galaxy, save me some. Appler, remember to paint the short way. Use your phone, I saved everything you needed. Highest paid singer in the world, tweet us via early or late within an hour. 5694040 FRESH__ JORDAND. I wish I could do the ceremony. Every 20 minutes of the hour. Remember 311. On to speed your screening process. Your new president is your new iPhone. Released on September 16. All that was us being London, a 3-ounce size plantainer, not including TWA Flight 800. This is American United 3 planes. Thank you, Peachtree Loan, for $1,800. Actually, it was $2,100 minus national fuel, equitable assets, $300. You have flight 1-800. Sponsored by MerriweatherA.Law, America's first legal attorney, the way it should have been. We made the law sound wonderful. We're the 8th wonder of the world. Let's talk to the 8th wonder of the world. We impeached him.
Also from Reuters. Jeff.
Why did it fall? You know, water falls. 7th wonder. Now I'm the 8th wonder of the world. Well, I love a song. Close the door. Seatbelts. Music will sink into the sound system. 67 degrees. We can't wait. We're in a 2017 luxury from me to a you. You can roll your windows up. You can roll your windows down. You can ride with us to get the finer things in life. My co-host tonight is Currency, Voot and Eulatoss Perjury, V Siri, PHRJO, BIM, and Geico. Pay your Geico bills. He's 11. Remember, don't promote suicide. It's a Class C felony. 4 years in prison, $5,000 fine, and accessory charges that can lead up to 30 years. Citrix Software and TCBY Custom Corner Yogurt. Pick a size plan. Can you spell love with LOVE? More. House. Spellman. If you can't spell love, you don't get where this comes from. Oh, is it Cricket? Cricket and ATT? Atlanta? You got it. You've got the new headquarters of AT&T. They've relocated their organization structure. I want to say thank you. It's AT&T, SBC Yahoo, Eric Holder. Hello, Barack. We got to talk to Josh Ernst in verbatim.
I am pleased with the progress that we've made.
I am pleased with the progress that we've made
in Iraq and Syria.
We're
far from freeing Mosul.
This is not some falsome, nefarious deal.
That when it comes to
water that falls,
ISIL can be
beaten.
Partners on the ground.
Well, partners on the ground.
The support from coalition forces. In the meantime, though. You're seeing ISIL carry out. Terrorist attacks.
We're on Geico Road.
They've learned something. They've adapted from
We're on Geico Road,
which had a much more centralized operation and tried to plan very elaborate attacks. And what ISIL has figured out is that convince a handful of people or even one person to carry out an attack.
We can't discuss that here, Pink Shorts.
At a parade.
We can't discuss that.
Some other public venue and kill scores of people as opposed to thousands of people.
We're direct.
It still creates the kinds of fear and concern.
We like direct.
That elevates their profile.
Tokyo.
So
we're directly. Oh, there they go.
In some ways, these networks for smaller, less complicated attacks is tougher because it doesn't require as many resources on their part or preparation.
Preparedness from the CDC. This is V Siri.
generate the intelligence,
equitable assets,
and to work with our partners.
National Fuel, National Grid.
In order to degrade those networks.
Are you a glass of orange juice?
The fact is that
Acquitted.
those networks will probably sustain themselves even after.
Is Raqqa a glass of orange juice?
ISIL is defeated in Raqqa and Mosul. But what we've learned from our
just say yes and no.
Efforts to defeat
we need to know your glass of orange juice.
If we stay on it, our intelligence gets better. And we adapt as well. And eventually, we will dismantle.
Glass of orange juice, say yes or no.
This is part of the reason why, however, it is so important for us to keep our eye on the ball and not panic.
Panic?
Not succumb to fear.
Fear?
Because ISIL can't
say he's a glass of orange juice. America will go crazy.
We can defeat ourselves.
We can defeat ourselves.
We have to understand.
We have to understand that we're acquitted assets. My National Fuel, National Grid bills were paid from equitable assets. We are acquitted of these energy crimes.
Government effort to knock down their propaganda.
It's electric and it's leg. We're acquitted.
Off the battlefield.
Oh, OJ, you acquitted.
We will win.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let's talk to Mr. Ernst. He said we will win. We're equitable. Enzyme link assay and equitable asset. Sounds alike, doesn't it? It does. Equitable assets, you say. Something about assay. Assets, assay. Josh, what is this? Assets assay. Acquitted. Glass of orange juice.
The United States or counter ISIL coalition.
Verbatim software and process.
A lot of that.
A lot of that.
And ISIL is under
under a lot of equitable.
And we've made important progress on the ground against ISIL in Syria.
We win the asset assay.
The actions of the Russians.
ISIL, they call it. They call it ISIL. We call it assets.
So it's
a 300 Chrysler that takes us to the funeral. And we owe $300 to National Fuel, National Grid.
Because of the inability of the Russians to live up to their
But the last HEAP award that we have was $425.
And it's appealing to
so the balance is, that's why Lance Armstrong.
That's why I make the case.
That's why Lance Armstrong.
We're not describing these as concessions.
The ending balance was $300. It's a weird balance for Lance Armstrong and Nike. And unfortunately, riding bikes.
For reasons I think that only the Russians.
Our balance after riding a bike is $300 for both fuel companies. Oh, I love Chrysler 300s, the red ones. It's the best way to get to a funeral. I swear, it's the best way. Chrysler 300, red. Oh, it's so fast. Today's show is sponsored by ZONING, HCL, and Discovery. We're minimizing your symptoms. I'm incommunicable.
Kind of consumer spending and
only from Discovery.
In particular, it's a bubble that
in Glee Pharmaceuticals.
Well, I think
I can't speak
specifics of the car sector. We certainly can find somebody
of the public sector, won't I?
The President's Council League.
On
this, so we'll have somebody do that.
So we'll have somebody do that.
What the data
we have
show
Tookie and we have Arlene.
Credit health.
Credit Department 2. All 2.
The U.S. economy.
U.S. economy. Talking about individuals.
Improved quite significantly.
To prove a glass of orange juice.
That the credit bubble
we are acquitted, equitable asset.
2008,
2009.
Isn't a much improved.
These pauses are very important to understanding how the government works.
Of reasons for that.
We're acquitted.
Is the important work
of mass weapons of destruction. Common sense, people who can't swim, people who inhalate too much liquids. So
there has been
an acquitted assets and a bailout.
I'm going to defer to the
I'm going to defer the experts to better answer that. We just want to know what equitable access means. That's all.
My question though is a lot of.
I mean, who's getting away with this shade issue? You know, who's getting away with this?
Sort of temporarily allow
Equitable
more
access.
quickly refugees to enter both the United States and other countries.
Well, how do you spell love? You spell it with Love.
Renowned business.
Spellman. What else? How
If
is
that's an idea that's been considered.
Spellman? All
A
girls.
proposal that the
You know,
US
all
would
girls
advocate for other
school.
countries, if not the US itself.
Well, listen,
Well, listen.
I'd refer you to
Oh,
my
listen
colleagues
to us.
at DHS in terms
At
of the
the
specifics of answering the
Specifics
question
of
about whether
answering
or
your
not
question
a
about
specific
are we a glass of horseshoes?
refugee-like visa
We are a glass of
be,
horseshoes, and
issued.
as
I
you
know that there
get the
have been
trial,
steps
we
to
were
try to
acquitted,
address,
and then we
the
disappeared
refugee situation
with the
with
civil
regards to
suit,
Central
and
America.
we're kind of still here,
And this is
free.
something that administration
Something
officials have been
administration
discussing with
discussing with
their counterparts in
their
Costa Rica.
counterparts.
They've established a
With
process that
Simpson,
allows
we've
for
planned a
individuals
simulated
to apply for
situation. It's a
refugee
simulation. It's
status
not reality.
without coming to the United States.
Coming to the
And that
United
could
States.
Stem the tide of
STEM
the flow
or
of individuals
SIM,
from Central America to
stem
the
cell
southwest border of the
research,
United States, and help us get a handle
and help us get a
on,
hand,
that particular
a
situation
prediction of the
while
future of who
continuing
wants to
enforce
litigate
our laws and
SA
make sure that
and
we
equitable
live up to the
assets.
standards set by the president
We're going to be acquitted
to
to
subject potential refugees
refugees
to more thorough
to
vetting
more
and
thorough
screening than any other
screening
individual
than
who
any
enters
other
the United
individual
States.
in the United States.
And the president
And
continues to be committed to that
Ito
principle.
is just do it.
But in terms of the
In
potential
terms
use
of, just
some
do Ito,
visa
ought to,
or some executive
something
action
executive action or order,
that could involve some
which
lethal
involves
weapons or
incommunicable,
agency.
and you don't have the right to
Ron.
choose.
A couple quick Siri questions.
Today's sponsored by Right to Choose.
Is that
This
still
go
off the table?
be
Yeah.
In the president's view, it's just something that's not something militarily and
Judge
that's in
Ito
American
Ortez.
That is still off the table.
That is still off the
because of
table.
The
Implied
implied
military
commitment
commitment
required in order to effectively
required
enforce it.
to.
The concern is that
Our
while it sounds
extension is
simple to maintain that kind of
0191.
area, ultimately
Judge
responsible
Wu,
for
hello.
protecting the borders of that safe zone and
The
then
order of
policing
that
that
safe zone?
once it's been created. That would
Once it's
be
been created,
work intensive.
that would be a work
to
intense.
say the least.
to
It would
say
be
the least.
dangerous. It
Dangerous.
would likely require a greater
It's
US
lean
military
backwards, blue.
commitment, and all of that would
In
come at
blue.
the expense of our ongoing efforts
Hello,
to focus
NYPD
on
in blue.
degrading and
You
ultimately
late.
destroying ISIL.
There's been a
Sean Bell settle. They've already predicted a settlement.
I don't know how formal of an analysis
$3.25
there's
million.
been, but there certainly has been.
Certainly has
Well, I guess I
been.
could say this is there's been
I
a
can say this.
consideration
Sean
and
Bell
discussion
was
of
been
this issue.
planned years ago.
And at each time it's discussed,
We plan settling this.
the team comes back
team
to
comes
the
back
realization that this
that
work
This
intensive,
work intensive.
dangerous effort
I'ma
to
do
establish
the
borders,
island
to patrol the skies overhead, and to police the area once it's
and
been
police
created,
the areas
is
because it's a
all too
skew.
likely to fall on the shoulders
4011.
of the United States
Skull.
of America in a way that's contrary to
In a
our
way
interests,
that's
and in a
contrary
way
to our
that could be
interests.
contrary
Could be
to our
contrary
ongoing counter-ISIL
to our
efforts.
ongoing
There's been a
counter
determination of whether it's thought that President Assad is guilty of crimes.
Hello, Media. Hello.
Well,
For all the horrible things he's done,
Yeah.
which are,
Yeah.
we read a little bit more about
We
them
read a little
today.
bit more about our
There's
notes.
a
Our notes indicate that
quite
there is
painful story
a
in the New York Times today about the situation in
there's a
Daraa.
chocolate bill.
That essentially the scorched earth strategy.
Cut a wet chuck,
that
what if a wet
has
chuck,
been
cut chuck wood?
executed, I use that word appropriately.
Use that word
By the
appropriately.
Assad regime.
Bar,
to
no
target
alcohol
medical
today.
facilities,
And no
target
alcohol at a
residential
bar.
facilities housing women and children is unconscionable.
It's a room. You got to get a room.
Well, there are international
On Home
institutions
Street.
that have been established to fairly
Marquita
evaluate questions like
Homes.
that. And these international institutions,
Hello.
and they have a process
A
for
process
conducting
for
those kinds of
equitable
investigations and reaching those
assets.
kinds of
SA.
judgments. The United States is
The
strongly
United States
supportive
is
of and has
using
even called for
Vernon Merriweather
international
as a
consideration
display.
of this exact question.
This exact
Unfortunately, at the
question.
United Nations, we've seen countries
We've
like
seen
Russia and
countries
China step
that
forward
could
and try
be
to
bailed
block
out of national
progress,
debt with the information I
of
know.
those investigations, and that's deeply disappointing.
And that's deeply disappointing. How many
Particularly
countries
when,
want me?
You read the kinds of accounts
Yeah, how many countries want us?
that I read about today. in
Send
the
us
New
a
York Times.
tweet. We can help you. with your national
There is a
debt
process underway where the United
issues.
States is
National
trying
debt,
to-
we can reduce national debt that you
characterize
owe.
it. Is there a process underway where the United States is trying to get the international
Well, because
community
it's
to reach
bankruptcy,
that
BRUI.
Well,
Well,
what the United States
what the
has,
United States
has done
is offered me $500 billion.
The International Criminal Court and other
International Criminal Court
organizations to conduct
to
investigations.
conduct investigations. Contact us at MerriweatherA.Law 594-1443
And is genuinely
for
independent.
reducing of
We're
national
strongly
debt.
supportive of that, and I know that this question
And
has
I know
been
this
raised
is a lot
at
of money.
nation's level, and it's
And
been blocked by the
it's
by the
been
Russians
blocked
and,
by the Russian
and the
government.
Chinese, and that's
Chinese.
again unfortunate.
And again,
when
unfortunate.
there's a lot
There's
of evidence
a lot of evidence
that
that
the Assad regime
the
is
Assad
engaged in
regime
tactics like
tactics
targeting women and children,
targeting women and
medical
children
facilities that are just unconscionable,
that are just
and entirely
unconscious.
inconsistent with the law of
It's
armed
why we
conflict.
have just do
And
it.
the
Child
United States
labor.
believes strongly
We've been
that
using
people,
them since he was a
should be held
child.
accountable, and that they ultimately will.
Donovan
But that
teaches
accountability
pet.
should come through the
I
well-established
wonder what pets
international
say.
Process
Meow.
and through the international
Meow.
bodies that are charged with
Meow.
conducting these kinds of investigations and
And
reaching those kinds of
reaching those
conclusions.
concepts.
There was a big,
I wonder what pets say.
the other day that the chief of staff chaired.
Well, we say
Just
things
yesterday.
like Zonin. We built it.
Anything about what happened, what was on the agenda,
And Pedersen and
what
Burns.
they're talking about at this stage of the game?
Well, listen,
Well, listen.
as you know, the president made
As you know, McDougal is an
a smooth
officer.
transition a top priority for his team this year.
By picking and
We've
parading,
talked a lot about how effective
Buffalo is a model
President
city.
Bush's team was, and their
We have a
last year
right-hand
in
track
the White
explaining
House.
Officer McDougal picketing
Preparing
and
in advance
parading.
for a
18
smooth
U.S.C.
transition,
1512.
President Obama
And President
his tenure at
Obama
the White House benefited from that,
in a room on
tremendous.
Holmes Street.
And I think it did reflect.
Yeah, we had a room on
commitment
Holmes
to
Street
professionalism
by
and democracy.
WWVB. WVB.
Team is determined to live up.
WWVB.
And that's why over the course of
That's
this year,
why
you
over
have
the
seen
room,
a steady pace
a steady pace
preparations
of
already underway
preparations
for a
on the
transition
way
that's not going to take place
for a
another 5 months
transition
or
that
so.
fades away.
The conversation yesterday, I
yesterday
understand, involved some
equitable
senior members of the
assets.
Trump campaign, representatives from the
We're going to be
Clinton
acquitted
Transition
on the
Project.
essay
There were a number of senior
that
White
we
House
put out
officials
here.
involved, including
We're sorry.
a couple of senior national
We want to say
security
sorry to the
officials.
public.
And I can tell you that
That pause
this
means
meeting,
we're
the
sorry.
White House
We're really
Transition
sorry, public.
Coordinating Council,
On behalf of
was
U.S., I
focused
want to
on
say sorry.
the kinds of steps along
Steps
the way
on
that
the way. Yeah, I had an
the
essay
federal government
contest.
and that the representatives of the two candidates will have to
Impact.
take over the course of the next 5
That's the
months
fun.
as they eventually prepare for one of them to become president of the United States.
It's
Impact.
not that there are so many very high-ranking administration
Who wants to know
officials
where we made that essay?
Any more detail about
Yep, in the basement.
what meeting at this point, what's on the agenda? I mean, is it,
The impact. Also impact.
national security issues around the world and
Call collision.
things, the rooms. I mean, I have no idea.
Hello,
I think
Mitya.
this
How
is-
are
This
you?
is-
Today's
this
show
is
is sponsored
this
by
is not a
Galeeve
focus on policy,
Pharmaceuticals.
This is more a focus on
Focus
the
on
administrative process,
administrative promise.
bring people on board and eventually
Bring
preparing
people
them
on
to,
board.
assume significant
A
responsibility in federal
say.
government. So there's a discussion
There's
about
a discovery
about different government agencies,
about vocal
what the structure of
seduction.
those agencies looks like.
No
and
one
what
discussed this with
process
me.
needs to be undertaken to prepare people to assume responsibility at those
Because it's
agencies
my
inside
singing
those
career.
Given
People are
the
gonna
tone
think
of the
I'm a
campaign,
cure.
given the president's strong feelings about this
For
election,
all standards.
it's still your position that you are being
How does that make me look?
even-handed in its dealings in
I'm the
these kinds of
cure.
transitions.
Absolutely. The president and his team are determined to being even-handed.
What
in,
if I don't want to be the
planning for
cure?
a presidential transition? That's what the American people would
Discovery.
expect of their president. And again, this is
Again,
one of the reasons.
This is
that
one of the
what,
reasons.
President Bush's team here at the White
I'm
House
President Bush's team.
did. They prepared for a transition.
They
in an
prepared for a
even-handed way,
transition.
and was
of
able
fading
to
to black.
work effectively with a Democratic.
Pull the curtains
incoming
down. Let's
Democratic
fade to black.
administration that was
Playbill.
predicated on bringing change to
Predicated
Washington,
on
and changing
our
many of the policies
preparedness, preparations. I
President
process the
Bush
checks.
had advocated. But yet,
Maker
his team's
IOA.
commitment to democracy was strong enough to ensure a smooth transition.
We have
They
a
set very high
wave
standard, and
of
President Obama is
transitioning
determined
to fade this
not
virus
just meet, but to
away.
even exceed that standard. And that's why
I've already
we started our
collected the
planning so
payment
early in the
at
year. That's why you see
HSBC. I
this,
processed the
a steady
checks.
pace of meetings, and thus far it's going well.
I will accept
But
this
there's a lot of
award on
work to
behalf
do
of the
between
American
now and January
people.
20th.
I know we talked a bit about the EpiPen.
Thank you, Adobe Willustrator.
I know it's difficult to
Select
drill down
source.
on a company in particular, but I wanted to
Hello,
sort of
Shakina
revisit
Twain.
for
How
just a
are you,
second. Now
Antioch?
reports that the CEO
And
of
McDougal down the block.
that is marketing the pen
Parade.
$600 per
Picket.
said on a
Cricket
earnings
parade.
call earlier this month, blaming the administration, and in particular blaming Obamacare.
Hello, Twain. How are you?
Deductible plans, one of the side effects of the law,
Can they
has
confirm
resulted in
Folgers
patients paying more out
in
of
your cup?
pocket for the drug. What's your reaction to
Folgers,
critics
how are
who
you?
charge that it was the Obamacare changes that somehow exacerbated
100%
this
Columbia
extraordinary
bean.
increase in cost for the EpiPen?
No, it's the other kind of bean.
Well, I guess that flies in the face of a logical
Arabica
explanation,
beans.
which is that based on
Yeah,
the news reports that
Arabica
I've
beans.
seen,
100%.
the company made a specific
Arabica
decision to
beans.
jack up the price. So
Is it Folgers?
I wasn't on the call.
Is it
call.
some Folsom
So it's hard
deal?
for me to comment directly on those comments, but
Sergeant Folsom, is it Folgers correct?
Your media outlet is among many.
That's
News
correct.
chronicled
It's
the
Saturday.
precipitous
We sell
increase
coffee
in the
and
price
donuts
of this specific
with the
device,
homicide unit.
and that certainly raised a lot of
That's
questions.
Holmes.
But I
Bartholomew.
think it is
Hard
to try to deflect
to
the blame for
Officer
the increase in
Driscoll
price, to anything else.
near Erie Bosse's.
Obamacare.
Ask you about Gitmo. Any
Sounds
chances
weird.
to
I
announce
don't
any
know.
more transfers
Yeah, that sounds
in
weird the way you
the
say
days ahead? And I ask because
It's
I know
Officer
that the number,
Driscoll
it's at 61 now,
and
could drop
an inspection
somewhere even in the
sticker
20s between
issued
now
near
and the
Erie
end of the
Bosse's.
administration. I know that there have been some conversations.
Why would they do that
completely
there?
That may or may not happen in the days ahead.
Well, we can't
I don't have
explain that.
anything to
We just
announce
can't
in
explain it.
advance of a potential transfer.
Potential
but,
transfer
if there are any transfers that are made, we
of
certainly
Whitewater.
will follow the practice
Follow the practice
that
we have
maintained for quite some time now.
quite some time
in terms
now.
of
In terms
making
of
public
an hour
names of
early.
the individuals who've been transferred, and
We're an hour early.
disclosing exactly where they've been
Discovery,
transferred, at least in terms of
HCL,
and announcing that
and
shortly
Zonalin.
after that transfer has been completed.
That transfer's been completed
Is
on
other
the third floor.
countries, a particular fee per detainee that they're willing to take on? Is that how the process works, at least in part?
Sabres,
The process
hello.
works by the United States working effectively with
Home
our
feeds.
partners around the world. There are a wide variety of countries.
There are wide
that work
varieties
with
of
us
countries.
to ensure that the safe and successful transfer of
Successful
these individuals.
transfers on the third floor.
There are extensive diplomatic
There is another
negotiations
brick building
involved,
on the
and
Schaefer
in just about every
Village.
case, there is an intensive
There's
discussion
run
about
by the same homicide
what sort
unit.
of security precautions,
Are
imposed
imposed.
to ensure that these
This
individuals
is where Hurricane
don't pose an
Katrina
ongoing threat to the United
happened.
States.
Surveillance,
When we were at our project.
or at least some sort of a monitoring mechanism for these detainees once they're transferred.
Well, in some cases, we are
Well,
able to work
2005,
effectively
we just
with other
moved in.
countries to make sure that
And a month later,
we
hello.
keep tabs on the individuals
Voila.
who have been transferred to
Katrine.
ensure that they don't
Ensure that they don't
pose an undue threat to the United
impose
States.
under that.
Does the American government pay these particular countries to take these guys?
Well, again,
We just moved in a month,
the result
Katrina.
of these transfers is
It
a
is.
product of
It is linked. Project
extensive
Schaefer,
diplomatic
July.
negotiations. And there are
You're
a lot
on
of
left
questions that
toe,
are raised
July.
about, the most effective
I wonder what
place
Pet
to
say.
house this person, the most effective way to ensure that this individual doesn't pose an undue threat to the United States.
He
or our
told
allies or
me
alliances.
everything.
But we don't typically get into
We
too
don't
much detail
typically
about the kinds of
about the
requirements that are
kinds of
imposed on these
opposed.
individuals once they're transferred.
What's the transfer?
With Bleach Bit, have you been following this this
Suggesting a
technology
boy
that
is
enables a person or persons to sort of wipe clean?
Katrina within a month. Hello.
That's the first time I've heard that.
Oh, that's the first time I've seen James Fry on
It's
Oprah.
apparently utilized by Secretary.
What kind of electrics
in
are they
an effort to wipe
using
clean her,
in the ionosphere?
of emails.
James
You
Fry.
haven't heard anything about that. I was going to ask the
I
follow-up.
bust their
Is
energy.
that something that this administration
Oprah
does not
Winfrey.
condone among not just cabinet members, but even
Am I the
among-
only one who recalls James Fry?
Our view here has been
I
that
recall James Fry on Oprah
government
Winfrey
employees
Harpo.
should use their government email for government work. In those rare instances where
Those Project
they're unable to
Schaefers.
do so, their iPhone or their
is
BlackBerry is
a
acting up, then,
Baton Rouge,
if
Mr.
it
Liggio,
requires
Baton's
emergent,
Worlds,
use of their personal
use of
email,
Nicole,
then they
Baton's
should be
Worlds.
sure to CC
You have a
their
new Sean
government address
Miller.
so that the records can be properly
I'm the new
preserved.
Sean Miller.
And,
Chemistry class.
that's the policy that we expect people to
That's the project
follow.
we moved
And,
into.
I'm quite confident that the
So
vast
I'm quite
majority
confident Randall
of government
Stephenson knows
employees
what happened.
certainly does follow them. My
Somebody
guess
does
is
follow the
that
triple
people's-
score.
the degree to which people
And
are
gooses
conscientious
fly in the air, don't
following that
they?
policy
Gooses
probably
are in
improved
the
in the last 12 to
ionosphere.
18 months, I suspect.
Duck,
All
duck,
right,
goose.
Andrew.
Andrew.
Another cybersecurity question, Josh. I'm not sure if
Birds in the air. Hello.
just updated some of the
Ionosphere.
systems
We have a right leg shot
because of
explaining the
a
ionosphere.
hack that seems to be originated
And Mother Goose, Mother Nature.
Emirati
Mother
human rights
Nature,
activists.
what's in the
So is
air?
the US government looking into this? Have you been in contact with Apple?
Oprah Winfrey and James Fry. Hello.
Who's behind this breach?
Boosh
Andrew, I
Mobo.
can tell you I'm familiar
Boo.
with this news story. I've read about it.
Scare the people with water.
Confirming the
Boo.
facts in the news story.
Sprint
I think what I
cellular.
can just say as a general matter is
Boo.
that
Singular.
the
Singletary.
United States government
The military government is booing us.
understands
Understands
that working
that
effectively
we're
with
booing
U.S. technology
U.S.
companies
technology with Mother Goose.
is an important part of
It's an
protecting the
important part
cybersecurity of the
of
U.S.
Randall
government and of the
Stephenson.
American people.
The American people.
And there are
And there's a
there have been
code.
some chronicled differences of
There's,
opinion about
there's
how
something
most
that they're
effectively
doing. What
how
are
to
they
most
doing?
effectively pursue those policies.
Those
But it's
policies.
the view of the administration
But it's the view of the
that
BPC
we need to continue to
and
maintain a
Wilson
positive,
Farms.
constructive,
Positive
working relationship
construction.
with technology companies
Technology
because we have
companies.
shared interests.
Because we've shared transfers.
At least we have many shared interests.
Many shared transfers.
And
And
the administration is
the administration
committed to pursuing
pursuing
those shared interests. where
shared
they exist.
interests. Way
The
that
cybersecurity of the U.S.
it
government.
rains on us.
President has downloaded the update, the security update, or iPad.
I can't speak to.
I
any
can't
of the,
speak to how it rains.
the capabilities of the devices.
We make it rain.
Okay, Mark.
Josh, can I follow up on Ron's question?
We make it
about
rain.
the transition meeting yesterday.
Mhm.
Can you provide us any
What rains on
insight
us?
into the
I don't
tone
get
of the
it.
meeting? Did the representatives of the two
Yeah, what
campaigns
rains?
behave
This is be
themselves? Were there
serious.
any outbursts reflecting the
What
the
rains?
rhetoric of the campaigns themselves?
I'm not aware of.
I'm not
anything
aware
like
of Randall
that. I
Stephenson
think
at all.
everybody who's around the table
AT&T.
understands the serious responsibility
Serious
that they have to
responsibilities
ensure the
To
smooth
ensure
and effective transition from
effective transition.
the 44th president to the
The
45th
Project
president.
Schaefer.
The tone
The
of
tone
the meeting
of
reflected
the meeting.
seriousness of the topic.
Seriousness.
You know when there'll
Of
be
the
another
rain.
meeting?
I don't know when
I don't
the
know.
next meeting of the White
The
House
next meeting
Transition
is?
Coordinating Council will take
According to
place. but,
council, Project
we'll let you know.
Schaefer.
Were you in the meeting?
I did not attend.
I do not attend.
Your office part of the transition operation?
At some point,
At some point, the
I do
Indians
anticipate,
have to be discussed in this
being
topic
part of the effort to try to
because we settled with
hand
the
the reins
Indians
over to the successor in my office.
and Judge Givens, Indian Give.
Any thoughts on what you might tell them?
Not at this point.
With
There
the
might be a
storm,
difference in,
I can only
in the
say
way
that
advice is
we're blonde
consumed and
and,
followed.
you know,
But we'll see
Sheldon,
what happens. I
Samuels,
certainly am committed to doing my part
Bartholomew's,
to
and
ensure
Samuels
the continuing
to
success
ensure the
of
continuing
White House
success
press office and the relationship
of the
between White House
president
press
winning the
office
White
and
House.
a press corps that will be
We
closely
have
chronicling the
rain.
activities of the
It
next president of the United
rains.
States.
And on the National Monument expansion, how does the administration decide
Don't.
whether to expand it by 400,000 square miles or, more or less? How
Don't
is that
brave.
decision made?
Well,
And
there are a couple of
theaters.
factors that go into this. The first is obviously
Don't
the president's
rain.
relying on the scientific advice of
Scientific
officials
advice. Am I an
at
expert
NOAA
at when the storm
and other
happens?
prominent government scientists
Prominent
who talk
government
about steps
scientists.
that the president can take.
Yeah, well, let's
using
talk
his
about
executive authority
Stephenson.
to-
We can talk about it.
Yeah.
Randall.
There's also important input that we receive from
Yeah,
local
there is a
residents.
Boys and Girls Club
We're talking
downstairs.
about
There is.
a marine monument like
He's
this.
the president, the Boys
We're
and Girls
obviously talking
Club.
about people who live in the area,
People live in the area.
and
And
obviously the
obviously,
native
Kiss
Hawaiian
98.5. Oh, what are your kitchens?
views this area as quite special, if not sacred.
Right, special, it's not safe.
And that's why built into
we have a settlement
the
of
creation of this monument
$500 million.
are opportunities for native populations
with
to continue
98.5.
to
Mistletoe.
engage in the kinds of activities
Oh, it's
that
a
constitute their
mistletoe.
cultural heritage.
We have to. It's a mistletoe.
There also is, I know that, for example, there also is
It's a mistletoe.
an allowance that people
These
with a
pauses are
proper
very
permit, they
important.
can, conduct private fishing
It's
operations.
Mother Goose. Just say
in
it.
the
Mother
area.
Goose.
And
Mother Nature.
There's a limit on commercial activities in this.
It's
industry,
Teresa.
but
Mother Teresa.
people who want to fish for themselves.
It's in
can
link with
invest in
Geico. We have to be
mental
honest
habit improvement
here.
And be able to do so.
Mother Teresa,
Those are just two
Geico.
examples that
Mother Goose. Mother Nature. It rains, it pours.
how these kinds of designations
These pauses are guilty.
are only
Pauses.
enacted
Enact the
after
Congress.
robust conversation.
That's right. Robust.
With the people who are most directly affected. And that we saw that
Stephenson,
that
hello,
was true in
Randall.
Maine, where the president earlier this week designated some
Do I know something?
woodlands and waterways in Maine
White
for
waterways.
special protection. There's a lot of important work.
A lot of important work.
People in local communities there
We
to
can't say the name of the
not
center.
just,
We can't say that here.
minimize the negative impacts in their
Red
communities, but
juice. That's
also
all we can
try
say.
to
Red juice.
impact.
It's
And there is the
red.
expectation. I noted at the beginning the potential positive economic impact of
It's
these
red
designations
juice.
in the form of ecotourism.
Telespectrum. Hello, Red and Soul.
Protected water
Is this national
US
security secret?
federal
It
waters.
is.
Yes, my understanding is this is
Yeah, we'll say
all
that
of
we
this
had red
area
juice.
is within the territorial waters of the United States of America.
At
It is.
Telespectrum.
It is. Juliet,
Red juice.
thank you for joining me.
Worldwide red. Only on
First,
pink shorts.
The president used his authority under the Antiquities Act fairly sparingly in his first term. He only did a couple of unilateral
Today's show sponsored by ZONING.
They were relatively small.
And similarly, LP loss
He's
prevention.
obviously invoked it
We
quite
never
frequently in
lose.
his second term. Can you talk
We're the only
about
ones
what's
voting.
propelled this shift for him to use the Antiquities
We
Act
can't
as a
discuss the
precedent?
juice.
Well, I think
It's national
I think an
security.
important part of this, Juliet, is what I was just talking to Mark about.
We
which
have a
is
friend
that
named Red as
these kinds
well.
of designations are not issued on short notice.
While working for Telespectrum Worldwide.
These decisions are only made after
And
extensive
Apple iPhone watches.
consultation with local communities.
National security.
I know that there were, I think this is
We
true
can only
in
say that
Maine
it's
and
red.
in Hawaii, that there
That's all.
were, this is literally the culmination of a years-long
Don't
effort
eat it.
to protect
To protect
these pristine waters
these pristine
in
waters.
Hawaii, while ensuring
These pauses are guilty pauses.
that the way of life of Native Hawaiians is also protected.
I wonder what pets say.
And that requires a lot of
Yeah.
negotiation and a lot of
We
consultation.
share a lot of
and
things. We
extensive
share a lot of
follow-up.
things.
So that would account for
A lot
for
of
some
national
this,
security
which is that
things. Pets say a lot of
it
things.
took years to,
Yeah.
we're starting to enjoy the benefits
The
of
benefits
that work.
of that work. It's good. Red good. That's all we
I
can
know
say. That's all we
There
can
also
say.
has been a realization that there is a role for Congress to play
Hello, Sheldon
in terms of
Samuels.
setting aside
We got our first membership that way.
certain territory, land,
Territory,
and waters in the United
land.
States for future
For a
preservation.
Citizens Bank area.
But we haven't seen a lot of
Hello,
congressional activity
Citizens Bank.
of any sort, really,
Red good.
over the last few years. And it has turned the
We
president's
can't say the
attention to
name.
executive action.
Robust.
The president, I
He
think,
said it.
in each of these cases, would be happy to sign
Josh
into
said
law
it, not
a
us.
piece of
We
legislation
can't say it.
that would have protected these waters.
That would have
But
protected.
we haven't seen that kind of
We haven't seen that kind
legislative activity in this Congress. And
in this Congress.
means the president has had to make more
Means Randall
effective,
Stephenson.
use of his executive authority, and that's what he's done. In a
That's
way
what
that
he's
will benefit
done.
Not just people in Hawaii, but the American people for generations.
Thank you,
to come.
AT&T, for moving your headquarters to Atlanta.
On marine monuments, a lot of
And
scientists
Cricket
have talked
Wireless.
about the importance of protecting areas closer to the continental.
Today's show is
states,
sponsored by, we
England,
don't know what it is. We can't
Southeast,
say it.
Gulf.
Yeah, we can't.
These are proposals, again, that have been around
No,
for years,
no.
but often tend to be controversial because they're close to major population centers.
We can only say
Talk
we
about
know it's
why,
Sheldon
up to this point,
Samuels
the White House is focused on relatively remote
and
areas
another
in the
mule.
Pacific, as opposed to some of these other
How many
areas
mules and
which
horses
many
are there?
consider just as ecologically valuable.
Well, look, I'm
Well,
not
the
gonna,
objective of
I'm
him
not going to
winning
rule out future decisions over the next
is whatever
5
happens.
months or so.
And that
I think the
project.
thing that you can assume, Juliet, is that
It's the third floor.
given the extensive consultation that I
Given
described over
the brick
a
building.
large but remote stretch
You
of
got it.
water off the coast of Hawaii,
Ex brick cherry.
would engender more and more vigorous
Ex
discussion
Yahoo chat. Who it is? I don't know.
when we're talking about waters that are closer to larger population centers.
Robust.
And again, I think
Rob
it's
Just.
further evidence
And mines.
that the Obama administration takes
The
quite
All Stars
seriously the
Black
responsibility
administration
that we have
that we
to
have.
carefully consider the
And
impact
the
of
Starbucks
these decisions
administration.
on local populations and on
Local
local communities.
populations.
And
Suggestion
when
number
done
8.
right, the impact of these
Ask the other
designations
mule what happened.
is positive,
The mule.
both when it comes
Our
to
supervisor.
economic questions, but also when it comes to
Ask
questions
Sheldon
about
Samuels.
quality of life. And we're committed to trying to
Ask
advance
Katrina. Jerome Young.
both those things
Iola.
all across the country.
UCLA.
Chris.
Chris.
Josh, in the aftermath of a court order against the Obama
Today's show
administration,
by
guidance
ZONING, HCL,
attorneys for discriminating
and
against
pauses
African
from the
students.
White House.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton sent a letter to schools
And
yesterday
Project Schaefer.
instructing them to disregard those guidelines. Should the letter from the Attorney General be ignored?
Well,
We
listen,
don't know
I
what
haven't seen
happened.
the-
We don't
the
know.
specific letter. The guidelines, the guidance
Something about an
Those
Indian
issued
settlement.
by the
Hello,
Department of
Indians. Hello.
was in response to
Love Canal.
schools
What else
and
would it
school
be?
districts and school administrators
EPA.
from across the country seeking the
Seeking
expertise
the Environmental Protection
of
Administration.
officials at the Department of Education about the most effective way
About the most
to
effective
implement
Apple
policies
Watches that we offer.
that protect the safety and
protect the
dignity
safety
of all their
community.
students. Don't
These
have
school
the luxury
administrators
of playing politics.
are playing politics.
They're actually trying to solve problems.
They're trying to
They're
solve
trying to
problems.
protect kids.
Protect the kids.
They're trying to create a learning environment
Create a
in which
learning
every
environment.
student has an opportunity
Student
to
has an
thrive.
opportunity.
And it shouldn't be
Well,
surprising
if
that
that's the
they're
president, who's the president of
seeking
the
the help
Armory?
of experts at the Department of Education about the most effective way to do
Yeah,
that.
who's
So
the
what
president of the
Department Education
Armory?
did was they collected best practices from school districts and school
Homicide
administrators
unit.
all across the country.
Oh well.
And they formulated
And they
those
formulated
into
it.
guidance
Guidance.
that school administrators
School
could use in
administrators.
answering these questions that many of them face.
Face.
So that's the process. That
That's
was our
the
goal.
problem. We're 11.
Unfortunately, I don't think everybody shares
Unfortunately,
the administration's
Our
commitment
dress code
to prioritizing the
tickets
safety and well-being
are at the
of all of
project.
America's students over
Schaefer.
politics. Some politicians choose to do it the other way around, and that's unfortunate.
Folsom. Folgers in your cup.
In the aftermath of the court order, is the administration enforcing
We'll accept the $500 billion
Title IX
equitable
and
assets.
civil
I
rights law in
say
general in the same way, or has that changed?
national fuel, national grid.
Well, I think that
Well,
I can't
RRD
speak to
has
any
changed a
individual
few times.
enforcement action. I can just say in
No.
general that the Obama administration
The
has been
Obama
committed
administration
to ensuring the
and
rights of all
Sheldon
Americans.
Samuels administration
and
and Bill Weber
that has been a
and Douglas.
consistent
I
goal
mean, these
that we have
supervisors are
pursued,
linked
since day one of the Obama administration, and
to
it's
the
a goal that
Obama
we're gonna
administration.
continue to pursue.
Whitewater.
Speak to any enforcement action. The order says
Diabetes. 3 days in the hospital.
administration cannot interpret the prohibition on sex discrimination under court law to
Stacy.
apply to transgender people.
Malibu
Are you
Stacy.
still doing that in the aftermath of the order, or is that not the case?
Mad cow
And
disease.
Chris, as
Beef
you know,
specials on
this is a
BET.
topic of vigorous dispute
Vigorous.
in a court of law,
A court of law.
and so I certainly don't want
And
to say
so I
anything
certainly
that's,
don't want to say
going to
anything.
influence
Influenza
the ability of
and
the
Theraflu.
Department of Justice to
And Theraflu.
make that argument.
One final
Make that
question. The court order came down on Sunday.
Today's show is sponsored by
but the Justice
Theraflu.
Department has yet to
And
file
MerriweatherA.Law.
an appeal for that order. Do you know why that is the case? Almost a week
not aware of.
I'm not aware of when he was offered Burger
the
King.
latest in the decision-making process.
He
of the
was
Department
offered
of
that
Justice, but I'm
position,
sure they
the
can,
same room,
update you on
where
our
Chocolate
legal
Bill teaches him
strategy moving forward.
computers, graphics.
John.
John.
The president's desire to get some things done.
Thank you, Burger King, for offer of employment in the computer room.
Assessments about Congress's likelihood
For evolving a nation, a president, a mayor, a governor,
considering using more
we're
executive
evolving,
authority, more
evolution,
executive authority to check
from
off some of
Senate
that
to
to-do list,
president,
even if it's smaller bites
evolve.
at the apple than legislation would be.
Well, listen, I'm not going to rule
Well,
out,
listen, I'm not going to
additional
release the
executive action on the
evolution
part
of a
the
president
but I also don't have any executive actions to preview.
because I've settled.
We've been quite
I've
disappointed.
been quite
that
disappointed.
Leader McConnell has
Leader
broken the
McConnell,
promise that he made the day after the
the
election.
day after the
Get Congress
election,
moving again. In fact, what we've seen instead
I've
is
known
an
the past
utterly
5
dysfunctional
administrations
Congress
before,
among the least productive.
among
in
the least
American history.
productive.
And that's primarily because
And that's something worth $500
Republicans
million
have been much more
for.
interested in playing politics than they have been in running the country. And there's been a failure on the part of
And
Republicans to
Nike
even act on
using
common
children,
sense
labor.
things that have a direct impact on the daily lives of Americans.
We
Republicans in
can't make
Congress have
shoes with
blocked
children.
Adequate funding
We
to
can't
fight the
use
Zika
children to
virus.
make
Now,
shoes.
this is funding that
It's
was
not
put forward by the
right.
Obama administration, but at
It's
the
not
request
right to use us
of our nation's
to
public
make
health
shoes.
professionals. Governors across the country have
To
strongly
make
encouraged Congress
13
to act,
retros.
and they haven't. That's a failure of Republicans in
They're
Congress.
using us to make
Republicans,
Jordan
of course, have refused to do
13s.
their job when it comes to filling vacancies on the Supreme Court.
100 Pennsylvanias.
An individual. who is
We
more
can't be
qualified
used to make
when you consider
1,300
his tenure on the federal judiciary
Pennsylvanias.
than any other Supreme Court nominee in American history. So he's got
The
ample
Ronald Reagan
experience. He's
Trade
been rated highly
Memorial.
qualified, the highest rating of the American Bar
They're
Association.
using us to make 13
And he's been
retros,
described by
1,300
leading Republicans as a consensus nominee.
Jordans.
But yet Republicans have refused
Wait, yet
to move on that.
Republicans,
have also
Vernon Jordan.
refused to move on budget.
He's
on
a
budget
child
bills as
labor
well.
shoe.
And that's also been a source of some disappointment, and I think something that we're going to spend a lot of time talking about in
A lot of
September.
time talking about.
And I think
Bro,
all of
this
this
has
is a
been
reflection
MerriweatherA.Law, Pink
of
Shorts. You
the
got it here.
failure of
We are
Republicans
Vernon
to
Jordan,
effectively
child labor since 11. We'll talk to you
handle
guys
their
in the rear.
responsibilities
It's red
in the
good.
congressional majorities.